Good evening. My name is Leslie Grovel. I had a chance to study K17, which is a system acquisition, Watson ambulatory system transition. So the reason why we have a case is obviously because we have a problem, and we will explore the problems and pretty much come up with a solution and try to figure out the best way to move forward for the company, for the organization. So first of all, we should talk about ambulatory care. What is ambulatory care? Well, according to medicine.net, ambulatory care is a medical care that's provided on an outpatient basis. It includes diagnosis, observation, treatment, and rehabilitation services. So think of it as an hospital, but you can go and leave. Instead of being admitted to the hospital, you can get the treatment you need, but you can get and go back home. Okay? So So first of all, we are talking about Watson Community Association. So a couple of background information on the Watson Community Association. Watson Community Association is a private not-for-profit association that contains 200 acute bed hospital, have 8 clinics. Now, the hospital has been using Meditech as the main EHR, but the clinics have been using XYZHR because it was compatible with Meditech's platform. So about 4 years ago, XYZ was implemented into all the 8 clinics, and it was good at the time because it has a direct correlation with Meditech's platform. So that sounded like a very good idea. Now, what is the problem? What's going on? Now, all 8 of the clinics, they operate under their own volition. They do their own things. They have their own teams. Okay. Now, the last 4 years have been a disaster in terms of EHR support throughout the clinics. The clinics, they were left to their own devices and they couldn't maintain adequate support for physician system adoptions. So, in the last 4 years, after the system was implemented, they were having problems. Whenever they needed support, they didn't get support. So now, because all each one of these clinics operate on their own, they had to provide their own support. They had to pretty much create their own IT support. Needless to say that the system wasn't working and they were having problems. Now, what's important about this is we have to remember that an ambulatory care still serves as a hospital that has an outpatient component to it, meaning the physicians has to be able to access information and relay those information and use their own knowledge to make the best decisions. All of that play into great quality of care. Now, if the EHR system being used is not providing the best support, then you can see how that the ramifications can be bad as a whole for the clinics. So let's analyze the problem a little bit deeper. Now, we already know the problem they're facing. We already know the EHR system is not working. Okay? So now, moving forward, what do you do? Because you have to fix it, because we have to keep up with the times, because new companies are coming up with new stuff, and new clinics are coming up with new stuff. Now, on one end is quality of care, on another end is patient satisfaction. Now, are your patients happy when they come here? Are they happy if you're not providing them with the very best of care? So now, on one hand, the company can choose to keep the existing system. Okay, they can try to revisit certain things and try to see if they can upgrade the system. But here's the problem. You on the one end, if they do keep the system, the organization overall will save money. You know, and you know how people actually go through a learning curve to understand the system. They will not have to go through that learning curve if the organization decides to keep the system. And the overall implementation of the system can happen faster. Okay, so the pros would be the organization will save money. It won't take them crazy amount of times to relearn the system. and the implementation can be done much faster. Okay, now the problems. Let's analyze the problems. Okay, now we already know there's a lack of system support. Okay, so if there's a lack of system support, now the employees are not going to be happy because they're gonna feel like, okay, I cannot do my job like I would want to because I have not been provided with the best tools. Okay, so now because of that, you're gonna have a decrease of the quality of care. Okay, and if you have decrease of quality of care, then you're gonna have a decrease of efficiency. All right, now let's consider some possible solutions. The possible solutions will be to create a steering committee with leaders from all 8 clinics from different departments. So it's pretty much go to each one of those clinics. Preferably choose leaders that have a little IT knowledge and have them being part of a steering committee to pretty much figure out this whole problem. Then you will have to collect the thoughts and the point of views of the team leaders as well as their experience using the current EHR. So it's pretty much you're gonna go to them and be like, okay, you guys have been using this thing. What do you guys think? What do you think is the best way for us to move forward? Analyze all angles, all viewpoints, and so we can come up with the best solution. Now, we cannot forget to highlight the goals of the organization. We have to include the goal of the organization. And then after we do all of that, we can select vendors based on pre-selected goals. Okay? So the steering committee are gonna come and get together, preferably from all 8 clinics. They're gonna gather their thoughts and they're gonna talk about all the problems that is going on. And the solutions will be to include the goals of the organization and to select the vendors based on the pre-selected goals. All right. Now, now my after I reviewed this whole case, I really think that the company should move forward with a new system. Pretty much scrap whatever is going on, move forward with a new system. Because if you have an EHR system that has been buggy for the last 4 years and your quality of care is pretty much affected, your efficiency is affected, you know, then you are having recurring problems. So the best way to proceed is to go in the whole other direction. I really believe that Watson Community Hospital should use the findings of the steering committee to proceed and select a few vendors that are aligned with the organization's goals. So I really think that they should move forward with a different company. And I really think that the organization should go to the steering committee and to pretty much highlight all the problems that they found and all the preferences that they have, and to find vendors who understand the plan and the goals of the organization and to put much more forward. All right, so how do they implement? The implementation would be for the steering committee to reconvene and to choose the top 3 best vendors based on the results of the RFI and RFP. The vendors should agree on installing a trial version on the few devices to be used on the clinic. I really believe that the only way you can pretty much know exactly what's going on with a system is to have real life trials. Like to actually try it on during rush hours and to actually get a fair mark, like to integrate that into the day-to-day operation of the clinic. That's the best way for you to know what you're buying. We can speculate and we can think how it would work, but until you actually try it on hands on a day to day basis, you will never really know what's going on. So I really think that um, WCH should move forward with a different one, and they should listen to the steering committee, and they should choose the vendors based on a trial version on a few devices, and then to figure out what's going on. And after they use a trial version, the leaders of the clinic should reconvene after the trial version to brainstorm on which HR system would best cater to the workflow. So first they're gonna choose three vendors, and those three vendors should allow them to use a mock trial version for a few days. And then based on what the leaders find, they can reconvene and they can brainstorm and they can figure out which one works the best. Thank you very much.